am not recommending you do this. Do not do this. Before starting a GLP-1, make sure to avoid these 5 mistakes. And yes, number 5 is embarrassing and undoubtedly the worst. Hi, if you're new here, my name is Maddie. I am on a 80 to 100 pound weight loss journey. So far, I've lost a little over 20 pounds. Yes, I'm a slow loser, but it's fine. From the beginning of January 2024 last year to about June, I had only lost 4 pounds without the assistance of a GLP-1. I started taking semaglutide the end of July and have lost about 20 pounds. I am finishing up my 6th month on a GLP-1, and I thought I would share with you 5 mistakes that I made when I first started my GLP-1. Now look, we all make mistakes, and you will probably make some along your journey, but maybe by hearing my mistakes, you can avoid these at least. And before we get started, just a reminder that if you like this kind of content, make sure to subscribe. Number 1 is not focusing on my protein. I swear the first week or so, I was just kind of doing whatever I could to survive. And little did I know, if I had just focused on my protein, I probably would have been feeling a lot better than I was. This is probably the number 1 tip you will hear from literally anybody who is on a GLP-1 or doctors who talk about GLP-1s is protein. In case nobody told you, here's why protein is so important. Number 1 is that it actually helps suppress your appetite. What? Crazy, I know. Protein helps you feel fuller longer, which will assist in your weight loss. Protein is also really important when you're on a GLP-1 because more often than not, people lose weight pretty quickly. And with that weight loss happening, a lot of what is lost is muscle. And while it's nice to see the number on the scale go down, you don't want to watch your muscle mass go down. Protein is going to help build up that muscle, or at least maintain the muscle you have. Number 1, part A, is also to build muscle while you're on a GLP-1. It is so important while you're taking a GLP-1 to build up muscle because it is going to be burning off a lot faster. And did you know that working out with weights actually burns a lot of calories too? Especially over time, which is really cool. Protein can also help with blood sugar control, which is really helpful, especially if you are pre-diabetic or have type 2 diabetes. I myself struggle with low blood sugar from time to time, and I definitely notice a difference when I'm getting that Power 4. Protein, fat, carb, fiber. Now, how much protein are you supposed to be getting? Well, that's going to be different for each person. For me, I want to hit 100 grams or more per day. I did one of those calculators where you try to figure it out, and honestly, it was giving me like 160. I'm not doing that. I physically cannot do that. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to go for 100, and if I get more, that's great. And more often than not, I've been getting like 120 to 130 grams a day. I know how overwhelming it is to even start the process of taking a GLP-1, but if you have the mental capacity to put one more thing on your plate, make sure to focus on your protein. Number 2 is downplaying the role of electrolytes. You guys, electrolytes are so important, and I know what you're thinking. They're super expensive. They don't have to be. I know Liquid IV is like a little bit more of a pricey brand, but there are tons of other brands out there. And I even saw a TikTok of a lady making her own the other day. So there are definitely options out there. I'm a girl on a budget, so I totally understand. If you are on a GLP-1 and you are experiencing nausea, vomiting, or diarrhea, electrolytes are really important. If you're scared of the side effects, you don't have to be. Not everybody gets these, but if you do, make sure to take your electrolytes. Especially if you are having diarrhea or vomiting, your body becomes depleted of electrolytes, so you want to replenish them. And even if you are not having those side effects, electrolytes are still really important. They can help support your nervous system and your muscle functions. We all know water is so important, but while you're on a GLP-1, so are electrolytes, especially if you start incorporating a lot more movement and working out into your day. There are some days that I've felt so groggy and so lethargic, and I had a liquid IV and I was like, nope, just perked right up. It definitely feels like magic, but it's not. It's electrolytes. So do not downplay the importance of electrolytes on your GLP-1 journey. Number 3 is not getting in daily movement. And this doesn't even have to be going to the gym and getting a hardcore workout, going to Orange Theory or CrossFit. This can literally just be going for a 15-20 minute walk every day. When I first started, I was seeing results, so I didn't really think about getting movement in. But as time has gone on, I've started incorporating it more and more. And first of all, those endorphins. Am I right? But second of all, I've noticed a huge difference in my body in so many different ways. First of all, I feel like I'm less bloated just from walking. Second of all, obviously it's going to help the weight come off a little bit faster. And third, my endurance has gone way up. I know it might sound silly, but I am able to walk on my walking pad a lot faster than I was when I first started. That's a pretty cool feeling to have. Like I talked about earlier with the importance of of protein, the importance of building muscle during this journey is sky high. Building muscle has a ton of benefits, including an improved metabolism, which we stand, stronger bones, which will really help you as you age. It helps reduce the risk of chronic diseases. You know what? It's just gonna make you feel a little bit more confident too. If your starting place is pretty much no movement, do not go from 0 to 100. Do not go to the gym 5 days a week doing these crazy workouts that you're never going to sustain. Your first week, maybe start by going on a walk 2 nights a week. And then the second week, maybe go 3 times. And then the third week, maybe go 3 times, but 10 minutes longer. Just take little steps each time. Because by the time you get up here, it might not feel like it, but you'll look down and you'll realize how far you've come. All right, number 4. This one is very specific, but oh my gosh, I'm traumatized. Avoid fatty meats, especially the day of or the day after your injection. Fatty meats is a specific me problem. Maybe it won't be for you, but I think this can apply to a lot of things, maybe alcohol or sweet treats. Do not have them the day of or day after your injection, because you will be on the toilet and you will need those electrolytes that I mentioned earlier. The first time I made this mistake, I went to a Mexican restaurant with my brother, and I got sweet pork burrito, and it was so good, but I will never be able to eat one of those again because of what happened the next morning. My tummy hurt, and then it hurt so bad I thought I was going to throw up, and I was at a parade with my child and my sister. Luckily it was by her house, so I ran inside, and let's just say she watched my daughter for a while. God bless her. It was awful, it was unpleasant, and I never ever want to go through that again. So if you see me testing the waters trying to eat some fatty meat after my injection, maybe just remind me of this. Like I said in the beginning, unfortunately, a lot of mistakes, you have to learn to find out their mistakes. So hopefully you don't have to go through these, but also that's probably how you're gonna find out what food you react to. But again, hopefully you don't have to find out the hard way. But my biggest advice is if you have a party where you're gonna drink some alcohol, or you're going out to a yummy Mexican restaurant, or whatever it may be, try to schedule it for like 2 days before your injection. That way it should be out of your system before you inject and not done right after you inject. But ultimately, it's up to you what you do, right? I'm just a little traumatized, so I want to warn everybody about that. Number 5, this is my biggest mistake, you guys, and it's like a little low-key embarrassing. And this is the one that I don't want anybody else to do. Not talk with a doctor about your GLP-1. When I first started on a GLP-1, mostly what I was looking for was the cheapest option, because let's be real, it's expensive. I found a company that would accept my HSA as payment, but still, the cheapest option on their plan was pretty expensive. If my memory serves me correctly, it was around $300 a month. For semaglutide, I feel like for tirzepatide, that's not as bad, but for semaglutide, I'm like, come on now. But there was an option to do what was called a maintenance dose, I think, which is for people who were already on it, lost the weight, and wanted to maintain their weight loss. And of course, this option on their website doesn't come with a doctor, it doesn't come with any visits, it's literally they're just sending you the medication. And I had done so much research on TikTok that I just thought I was the brains of the operation here. So I signed up for the maintenance dose, they sent it in the mail, and not once did I talk to a care provider, doctor, nothing. Literally did not know anything. My mom had to like teach me how to do it. Anything that you would have learned from a doctor, I basically learned from my mom. I am not recommending you do this. Do not do this. Honestly, I really wish I would have started with a different company who was able to provide me what I needed for a cost I was able to afford. Because the things I had to learn on my own from my mom, from TikTok, was crazy. So please heed my advice and do not do this. Just because it's a little bit cheaper does not mean it's worth it. Find a company you love that has some kind of care provider or doctor or somebody who talks to you before even getting your medication. Somebody who can answer questions, somebody who can help you with all of that. Because y'all, having no support was so hard. I have a little bit of my vial left from my previous provider. After that's gone, I will be switching to a different company. My preferred budget is about $200 a month, so if you have any providers that you love, please leave them in the comments for me. One I've heard a lot about is Amble, and then I can't remember the other one. What is the name of that? Amble and I can't remember. But there you have it. 5 mistakes I made when I first started my GLP-1 journey that you should avoid. I hope this was helpful. If you liked the video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up down below, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll be making videos just like this every Tuesday and Friday. And please leave me any suggestions of providers you love down in the comments. I seriously need some help. Thanks again so much, guys. We'll see you next time.